so many good ideas that we could make use of here in Africa. Now let's turn to something colorful, mysterious, and vital to the health of the ocean. I'm talking about coral reefs. In Kenya, pollution has caused a large-scale collapse of this unique natural habitat. That in turn has increased erosion and led to major drops in stocks. Restoring marine life off the coasts has been a primary goal for conservationists for almost 4 years now. Let's see how far they have come.
Gardening underwater has become routine for the fishermen of Wasini Island. For the past 4 years, they have regularly planted corals in soft concrete on the seabed. Their reef was disintegrating, like many of the coral reefs along the Kenyan coast, and as a result, their fishing grounds were shrinking.
Before we started planting corals, we used to get about 2,300 kilos of rabbit fish in a month and about 800 kilos of snapper. But since we started cultivating corals from around 2014 or 15, our catch has increased by between 3,000 and 4,000. So we're now getting about 4,600 kilos of fish.
The area is certainly now teeming with life. Fishing or dropping anchor directly in the area of the reef is banned in order to protect the corals. Only snorkeling is allowed. The project is supported by the Kenyan government and the European Commission. Local boat operators are also involved. Muhyiddin Musa is a fisherman who volunteers for the project.
The project has made our island famous. It's become a real tourist attraction. And it's developed our community, because we now have many visitors who want to come and see how we're transplanting corals at Wasini. They come in large numbers.
The protection of the coral and coastal vegetation benefits both the local communities and the environment in general. Another local conservation programme involves preserving mangrove trees. Mangroves help to protect coastlines. They sustain sea life, and their growth can help to counteract the effects of rising sea levels by actually elevating the coastline. But, like corals, coastal mangroves are among the most endangered ecosystems on Earth. That's according to the United Nations.
In the last 100 years, we've lost at least 1/3 of the world's mangrove forests. They're being lost at a rate at 3 to 5 times higher than average deforestation rates of other forests. So these are very vulnerable ecosystems.
Coastal communities in the area have committed to restoring mangroves. The project is based in Gazi Bay and currently protects around 100 hectares of forest with government help. Mangroves absorb carbon dioxide and store it in their roots, thus helping to slow climate change.
You are talking about 2,000 tons of carbon in the system. So you can imagine when you have such a rich ecosystem, that when that ecosystem is degraded, you emit all that carbon dioxide to the atmosphere.
By protecting mangroves and planting new ones, they're helping to store more carbon. This earns them carbon credits, which the government can sell on the international market to reinvest in the project. The community plans to plant 4,000 mangrove trees annually in the next 20 years. And if neighbouring communities also join the project, the area of protected mangrove forest could triple in size.
So for about a decade now, plastic bags have been banned in Rwanda, and other East African nations are also taking example from there, like Kenya. But the ban has been more successful in Rwanda than in other nations. Fierce fines and effective controls have been major deterrent. But the question is, has the awareness changed amongst the population? We went to the small East African nation to find out. And here's what the people told us.
No plastics on the streets of Kigali. Since the ban was introduced 10 years ago, Rwanda has become one of the cleanest nations in Africa. Its laws on plastics are among the strictest in the world. Here, it is illegal to import, produce, use or sell plastic bags or packaging. Traffickers caught carrying illegal plastic bags are liable to be fined or even jailed. The nation's zero-tolerance policy was spearheaded by the Rwandan Environment Ministry.
At that time, the ministry in charge of environment had conducted a study or an analysis of the impact of plastic bags on the environment and the people in general, and to realize that there were so many impacts. Among them, there is, first of all, the litter that could be noticed everywhere. The second one was, this was a problem to the drainage of water and the free flow of water, especially these were blocking the water drainage systems.
The effect was almost immediate. Drainage systems were free. There was less stagnant water, fewer diseases. But Rwandans had to develop new habits. Supermarkets like Nakumat that were used to giving away plastic bags for free had to find an alternative. So paper bags were introduced instead. However, supermarkets have not been able to do away with plastic completely, despite the ban. So a few exceptions have been allowed.
We still use plastic bags for some products that are in the fridge for most of the time, because you can't use paper bags in the fridge. So this way, customers can still buy their food and take it home without it being damaged.
And it's not just the food industry. Service providers like hotels also had to find a way of adapting to the ban. Hotels are the only ones that are allowed to use food wrapped in cellophane, but they have to ensure that the plastic does not leave the premises. Any use of plastics always has to be approved by the authorities.
We are allowed to use these plastic bags. They are used in all hotels. The government has a team of inspectors that goes round the hotels and restaurants. If you don't have permission, you can't use them. We have permission to use cellophane, but we can only use it to pack or cover salads and other similar products that need to be stored.
Keeping Kigali and Rwanda clean has not only helped the environment, it has also had a positive effect on the country's economy. A clean country attracts more visitors. Tourism is one of Rwanda's fastest growing industries.
Yeah, we are very, very happy. We are very proud of what Rwanda has been able to showcase, that life without plastics is possible. At the start, people were not believing what Rwanda was undertaking, but slowly more other countries started realizing that's possible. We can see so many countries adopting the same policy.
Rwanda is a role model. Around 40 countries around the world have since also banned, restricted or taxed the use of plastic bags, including Kenya and the Republic of Congo.
Unlike what you see here, the landscape of the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt is arid and mostly desert, and the Bedouin who live there are also struggling with the climate change. It's grown more and more difficult to find pasture for their animals.
That's right, but just as there are oases in the desert, there are also spots in the Sinai that are green and fruitful. Habiba Organic Farm in the Bedouin village of the Nuweiba is a community that started more than 10 years ago as an organic farming project. Let's see what they're doing for their bits for the environment.